especially happy to be on stage introducing The Crucible with David Wenham, because tonight and this moment for me represents a kind of perfect storm combination of two defining moments in my artistic life so far. The first one occurred when I was in high school, and I went to see what was described to me at the time as a play about witches where people shouted a lot. Regrettably, Brett has said no to that particular subtitle, but fortunately, when I spoke to Brett about the idea of directing the play, he was amenable to that proposition. But more seriously, what that moment was about encountering the perfection of the plot in The Crucible. At that moment, I got my first taste of the power that a well-told story can exert on a room full of people. And there is no better told story than The Crucible. And there is no more powerful or moving audience experience than The Crucible. I was hooked from that moment, and I've wanted to direct the play ever since. The second defining moment happened some years later, when I was watching the wonderful Rowan Wood's Australian film, The Boys. At the centre of that film was a performance by a young actor by the name of David Wenham. It was one of the most compelling, transformative and extraordinary performances that I'd ever seen. And from that moment onwards, I knew that I wanted to work at some point with David Wenham. So that makes me pretty happy tonight, and kind of speechlessly happy. So being speechlessly happy is probably not a bad moment for me to hand over with great pleasure to David Wenham.
Thank you very much. Good evening. The Crucible, this will be the second time, in fact, that I've been in a production of The Crucible. The first time was more than 25 years ago. I was a spotty second-year student at drama school, and I was playing the role of Danforth. Now, Danforth was probably at least 4 decades older than I was at the time, but I was an eager and resourceful young actor, so I borrowed an eyebrow pencil from one of my fellow students, and I carved some very deep lines in my forehead, some worry and age lines. But I come about the third performance, I dispensed with the eyebrow pencil because it became very apparent that it was a joy for Arthur Miller's play was so perfectly constructed and beautifully written that it was truly a joy for any actor to portray one of his sublime characters. Now, there's been many occasions over the past 25 years where I've had cause to think about The Crucible and realise that it really is a significant piece of work, and I'm always amazed how relevant it always seems to be. I'm thrilled to be returning to the MTC. I'm thrilled to be working under Brett Sheehy's artistic directorship, and I'm thrilled to be working with Sam, one of the really exciting young directors going around in the country at the moment. And I promise next year that all the lines you see on my forehead will be my own, and none of them will be due to the eyebrow pencil.